something up there. I should have put my phone on, what do you call, airplane mode. So I wound up getting a call from some spam number, and it absolutely killed my live stream audio. And this is one of the things I hate about doing live streams on the phone is sometimes that happens. So in theory, my phone is on airplane mode. So I'm gonna go back to what I was saying before. So anyway, right across the US here, I'm gonna turn this around a little bit. So right across the middle of the US, kind of a line from Dallas through Little Rock, Nashville to Raleigh, North Carolina. Hey, KP, I had a phone call come in. I forgot to put my phone on airplane mode, and when the call came in, it killed my audio, even though I rejected the call. So anyway, that line, you're gonna have that cold air is gonna push the hot air up very quickly, and then it's gonna create precipitation, but as it falls, it's gonna freeze on the way down. If it doesn't freeze on the way down, the ground will be cold enough that it'll freeze when it hits the ground. And that's where a lot of the issues are going to come from. So they're saying basically if you draw a line kind of from Dallas through south of Nashville to Raleigh, North Carolina, you're looking, and they say Nashville is going to get it really bad. It could be up to 2 to 3 inches of ice, and then you're going to get snow on top of it. So it conceivably could get very nasty. No, I didn't see your text, KP. I'll look at it in a minute. If I do that, I'll kill my live stream again. It's been wild today. So in any case, wind farms are making preparedness, equipment preps over here. I don't know what the solar farms do. I guess the solar fields just sit there and get iced up. The drilling rigs, I know trucking is shutting down. A lot of trucks are headed to truck stops or they're going to their bases and they're shutting down. So they're basically what you're seeing is a lot of folks are not getting on the road, and that's probably the smartest thing to do. I'm gonna close these here. So getting a little background light, and I wanna you guys to be able to kind of see that screen a little bit better. I'll move my janky Chick-fil-A cup over here. So anyway, that's what it's looking like, and this is where it's gonna be really bad. You see that darker line, and it's all the way from Albuquerque, New Mexico, down to Del Rio, and then it kind of makes this swath almost. So there's going to be a lot of heavy snow north of here. And according to Ryan Holiall, who's a meteorologist, really talented guy, and I watched a couple today, the independent meteorologists, they're saying that it's one of those scenarios where that front could move 20 miles north or south. As a matter of fact, he was joking that Nashville, on the south side of Nashville, could get ice, like 1.5 inches of ice, and then just north of Nashville could get 5 inches of fluffy snow. Like he, like a brother-in-law will be okay. Um, um, it looks like it's just going to be a hot mess across the middle of the U.S. So I was curious at that point. What were the aviation maps showing? And I don't know if you've ever seen this before, and I'll try and bring it a little bit closer to you. So what this is from 1-800-WX Brief. This is a public page where you can look at the aviation reports as they're going. Oh, he just went live. Okay, so Ryan Hall just went live. Go check out his videos. He's going to be going live quite a bit. But up here, if you look, for instance, there's other pilots are putting reports. So the pilots are actually reporting weather. And it says the ceiling is below 1,000 feet. So basically the cloud cover is very low, which is, like I said, that cold is it's subsiding under the hotter air. They're saying visibility is below 3 statute miles. So the visibility is already bad. And there's precipitation and some freezing going on here up north. So you see all these red areas. And over here, the freezing line, that big blue line running across here that I highlighted, freezing is at surface. And then you go further down and the pilots are reporting freezing at 4,000 feet, which is that other big line you're seeing here. So as the storm, that front moves down, you're going to see what happened if the plane crashes. I don't think they're going to crash. They just need to not crash. I don't know. Raquel, I'm not sure, but this is what the pilots are reporting and what they're doing. They're getting on the radio and calling it in, and then they put it on this map. And it's something I encourage everyone to look at. Um, as far as delays go, uh, O'Hare Airport is already reporting a lot of delays. You can see by quite a bit. They've had 57 delays coming out of O'Hare International. But down south, you see New York, DC, all these other airports are not bad. They're showing, you grab your marshmallows, yeah, because the snow. Well, they're not getting snow up there, Raquel. What they're doing is right now they're seeing the cold air come down. The snow won't hit until, I'll show you the map so it makes more sense that way. So you see this is the US here, and you see there's Florida and Texas. So the cold air's coming down. It's actually not going to make any snow, rain, or ice until it hits the middle of the country when the warm air from the Gulf, from the south comes up and they hit each other here. And if you're near, if you make, hey Hudson, if you make a line on the map from Dallas to Raleigh, North Carolina, give or take, that's where they're thinking most of the ice will form and it will fall to the ground, or it will freeze, the rain will freeze on the ground. And so if you're planning to make any trips, you really want to do them now, because by tomorrow, at least in West Texas, New Mexico, and the western parts of Oklahoma, according to all the meteorologists I've seen so far, you're going to start seeing the ice forming on the road if you're by that ice line, and you're going to start seeing stuff fall down. Now, Hudson is north of the ice line. Hopefully, he doesn't get ice, but he's going to get almost 2 feet of snow, according to some measurements. And he already has like a foot and a half on the ground in that part of New York State. So I am an FAA pilot. Well, I'm a drone pilot, so I had to take all the regular pilot training with that, which is just funny. So yeah, in order to be an FAA licensed pilot to fly the bigger drones, I had to take the same class of this stuff as the pilots who actually fly an airplane. So needless to say, now next year I'm kind of wondering, well, should I just go get my pilot's license? But then, I had a friend crash his helicopter and go to the hospital. So I don't know. If I crash my drone, I usually don't go to the hospital. But I am a pilot in that sense. I had to take the test and everything, if that makes sense. New Jersey, it's going to snow either Saturday or Sunday. Okay, so Raquel, if you're closer to it depends what part of Jersey. If you're closer to Newark or toward the tri-state area, like the Delaware Water Gap, Staten Island, that part, you're going to get a bunch of snow. And they're saying New York City itself could get 12 inches. So if you're in northern Jersey, you're probably going to get about the same. Now, if you go further south, you might get some freezing rain. But because the weather isn't consistent, it keeps doing this. And they know south, they're going to get freezing rain, and north, they're going to get a bunch of snow. But that middle part is where it's going to get ugly on the roads, and they don't know. So no Fourth Amendment east of the Rockies. So yeah, you're gonna have, what's that? Watchman, never heard of it. So in any case, folks, if you got to make any plans, you're gonna pick stuff up. I would do it sooner than later. Now, if you're on the East Coast, right, you're like here in New York, New Jersey, Washington, like DC, Philly, down that East Coast, like the I-95 corridor, and that's where I grew up, out here on the East Coast. You're not going to get the bad snow until like late Saturday, is what I'm hearing. But here in Texas, we're going to get that freezing rain and that garbage that causes car wrecks. And Texas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico, we love to have big accidents for some reason. So, yes, Yardbird is absolutely right. Four-wheel drive does no good if all your tires are in the ice. So you got to make sure you're careful. And Orange Pokemon, Uncle, I'm in Louisiana. So if Orange, the Pokemon, if you're northern Louisiana, like towards Shreveport, Bossier City, you might be in the ice. Further south, if you're going like south of Alexandria, Lafayette, and New Orleans, you might get like a mix of sleet and rain, and they're not sure. But the Gulf, you know how it is in the Gulf, right? The Gulf of Mexico kind of makes its own magic there. I lived in Lafayette for years, so yeah, like you get those microbursts and something whole new comes out. But I had to get my car in the dealership. Yeah, Raquel, make sure you check your tires and fill up your tank, especially where you are, because you're going to get more cold, but it's going to be cold enough where all you're going to get is snow. Where Texas is going to be right where the ice is, and it's going to go through the middle of the country, so it's going to be ugly. Um, Thanks, I'm in Monroe. Yeah, you just watch the roads, and you know how the drivers are going between like everywhere from Florida to New Mexico, right? The big trucks. They get a bit crazy, and they're the ones usually, or somebody cuts the poor guy off, and then he gets jackknifed and has a wreck. And you don't want to get stuck on that long bridge over the Pontchartrain, because then if you have to go to the bathroom, you're screwed, because it's a 15-mile walk in either direction. You know which bridge I'm talking about. Um, but in any case, should I leave my door open? I'm not sure what you mean for the door open. Um, in any case, folks, plan your trips. If you're going to do something, do it sooner than later. Um, as far as Texas is concerned, a few of the stores got wiped out. For the most part, everything I saw in my part of Texas, and I called a few folks in like Dallas, Houston, El Paso. Things were stocked. There were a few gaps. There was some, there's some bread was missing. The pasta was a little thin, but it wasn't like it was wiped out. Like, remember COVID where there was nothing? Yeah, it's not like that. They're able to find stuff, and for the most part, people were being nice. They were being respectful. Nobody was being nasty to anybody. The liquor store had a line because probably a lot of people were like, well, I'm going to be stuck in my hotel or at the work site or wherever the hell I'm going to be stuck. So I'm going to go get a few drinks. And so the liquor store had a little line. I have been told by a few of the private store owners, the small stores, that they're having trouble with the credit card machines. So the internet's going in and out. I don't think it's down here, but remember a lot of the credit card servers, the Square and all the other software that runs your debit and credit cards has to go through servers that may be in the north of the country. So if they're already getting hit with any ice or snow or wind and their stuff's going down, it's going to affect you. So go to the ATM either tonight or tomorrow morning, you have time, and get some cash. If you can get smaller denominations, singles and fives, as well as 20s, that helps. So that way you don't have to, if you need $5 and whatever, you don't have to give a 20 and then buy stuff you don't want. Um, I just got a notification for your video. Gnostic Nomad, that's a good point. Um, yeah, the weight of snow, especially if your roof is not designed for it, is something you need to worry about. Uh, but for I-81, I did not see anything for specific for 81. Um, right now, like I said, from what they're saying, if you made that line from Dallas to Raleigh, North Carolina, that's where a lot of the ice is going to land. And you take that line and give it about a 50-mile radius. They did say Nashville in the middle of the country between Little Rock and Nashville might get anywhere from 1 to 4 inches of ice. So again, make sure if you got to get on the road, do it before, or if you're somewhere, if you're already on your trip, you may want to go and stock up and plan to get camped out in your hotel room or wherever you're at for a little while. No, my car windshield got scratched last time in the snow. Car windshield got scratched. Kids to clear roofs of snow. Hey, Teresa. Um, Car windshield got scratched. I'm not sure what you mean. It got scratched like somebody when you scraped it, or I'm not understanding. Um, Whatever you do, if you get ice on your windshield, don't put hot water on the windshield. I've seen people do that. It's like taking a glass of ice and putting coffee in it, you could crack the glass. You don't do that. Okay. Okay, so I-81, you're talking south of Binghamton? No, I'm thinking wrong. 81 goes through Binghamton to Syracuse, correct? So you guys, if you're where I'm thinking you are, you're going to get a bunch of snow. But you're going to get a pile of snow, like not fun snow. It's going to be, I don't know. Hudson, you were saying what? You're expecting, you saw 18 inches. I saw 20. And he lives up in the Hudson Valley. So as you get further inland, you're going to get more of that snow like you're going up toward Syracuse. So, oh, New Hampshire. You're going to get a New Hampshire. I love it. That's awesome. So, yeah, just wind chill was already weak. That's possible. That's possible. So, yeah, that's Watchman just yeah, Watchman, that's a good point. If you're not careful with the ice scraper, you could damage your windshield, but with her diamond rings. Um, but in any case, folks, look, plan your trips. If you got to go anywhere, if you're basically the front's going to hit Texas first, sadly. So the cold's going to come down. It's going to hit the northern states. You're not going to get anything. All this blue is when the warm air from below hits the cold air from above. That's where it's all going to get nasty. So it's sadly it's going to hit Albuquerque, Lubbock, the Midland, the Permian Basin. El Paso actually is going to get a pass. They're just going to get a bunch of cold air. Um, but then they're saying that real nasty ice is going to form kind of like in a line right across the U.S. So if you got to make a trip, do it sooner than later. If you got to stock up, the stores were stocked. No, don't panic. I do recommend there were a lot of people trying to get basics for the kids because the kids are going to be home from school. So make a list so you're not wasting time. There you go, bing, 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 get what you need, go. Um, a trip to the couch is a perfect place. All eyes, no Epstein. The Watchman has all sorts of jokes today. Those are like dad level jokes, man. Those are pretty good, actually. But live free or die. There you go. But in any case, folks, look, I just wanted to give you guys an update. If you got to hit the road, do it sooner than later. And remember, so you're going to get a lot of snow north of like that Raleigh, Nashville, Little Rock, Dallas line. I would recommend Ryan Hall. He's been doing really great forecasting. He's an independent meteorologist, really great. And there are a few storm chasers out there. I don't know what they're chasing because they're not going to see anything, but they're out there, including my friend, and I gotta find his Instagram, but I see him come through town every now and then, and he's a lot of fun. So, in any case, folks, be good, be safe out there. Plan your trips, take your time. Don't be careless on the road. Give yourself extra time and be prepared. You may have to get off the road at some point and go to a hotel or a friend's house and just camp out. My big fear is this really dark blue in the middle of the country. That ice will stick on the power lines and will make them come down, or it'll get the tree branches heavy and those will fall into the power lines. So plan accordingly, be careful out there, and try not to get in trouble. And watch the big trucks. If you see semis out there, give them lots of room because those guys cannot stop and wind kicks their butt. And if the wind starts hitting them, they're going to be all over the road. So you don't want to be around the semis if you can avoid it. And if you are driving a semi, be careful out there. Take your time and find a good pilot or a Circle K or Flying J or whatever, and get the hell off the road if you need to. You guys be good, be safe, and keep out of trouble. Be safe out there.